my parents lost the house that they had in sort of in the residential area of Portland. And my father's health seemed to be declining. And so we had an insurance policy that was going to help let him be out of work for a while with a little income. So they decided to buy another little house out in the country because we lost the bigger one we'd had. So they found something that, was very cheap and far out and not very appealing, I guess, to many people, but it was marvelous as far as the kid was concerned.
And where was that?
It was outside town and on a winding road that dead-ended, so there was no through traffic. And the winding road came around and went down along a ravine on a creek along one side and across a bridge and on up the other side. And just across the bridge was this little house, and it had an acre, and the creek ran right through part of it. And right behind us was a beautiful, large 90 acres of untouched fir forest with that creek running through it. And to me, my brother and sister, we just loved it. And so my grandfather came to help. My father died there probably within a year or so. And anyway, it was quiet, peaceful. My mother was quiet and peaceful and supportive and never moaned or groaned about her lot of having 3 kids and just a little bit of insurance money to live on. And
that must have been very hard for her.
Yes, which never the slightest complaint about it.
No?
It's just because we all knew that we were living sort of on the edge of income, and so we kids would get part-time jobs doing things, paper routes, picking berries and apples and things of that sort during the summer, and paper routes that we delivered papers, but never feeling sorry for ourselves at all. But this was easier to do in those days than it would be today because the Depression was just hit everybody.
Yeah.
And there were people that we deliver papers to that some months would just say, well, I just don't have it. And we'd just say, oh, okay,
And what were your brother and sister like? Did you get on well?
Yes, we got on very well. I guess we'd say in the normal sense that my brother was 14 months younger, and just before my father died, he'd been chopping with an axe, and he was then probably 7 or something, and the axe hit a knot in the wood and like that, and went right into his knee, and so he was in the hospital 6 weeks or so and got blood poisoning. They didn't have sulfa drugs in those days, so it was just, he pulled through, which we were all very pleased with. And for the next year or so, the leg was so sore he limp along, and so he'd limp badly, and his leg would just hurt on walk, and so what we just naturally got to doing is he'd put his left hand up on my shoulder and his shoulder, and have to pull hard on it, every half step they took, and it was just a natural way to be. But that kind of bonding of helping him and such, just we never fought after that. The way kids would get angry with each other and scrap. And
did you have many friends?
Well, in spite of my negative personality, we had some.
Were you quite social or not really?
Well, yes, but the impediment was that there weren't many other kids. There were 1 or 2 on that road that came by our house, and then we walked probably a mile or so to the little school, and we'd have friends there, but it wasn't that easy to pop around. And for some reason, I seemed to be kind of mystified by the social structure in the school, and some people seemed to know what was going on and everything. I never felt like I did.
No.
Because that's true for most of the intervening years. I just never quite know exactly what the social structure is.
Neither. What was your school like? Did you enjoy it besides that?
Yeah, I think I did.
Yeah? What did you want to be when you grew up?
Let's see, it's sort of like somebody said, what did you want to be when you were, when you were a little kid, what did you want to be?
Yeah.
And my answer immediately was a big kid. Because I didn't have any picture of what I'd be.
No? Not at all. What did you enjoy doing then? What did you do in your spare time?
Dreamed.
Really?
Well, my brother and I would tell each other stories that we had an uncle that would have been my dad's.
Sorry, playing again. You can keep talking, but you won't be useful.
I think it's better every way.
I mean, it just looks nice to me.
Well, that's not a plane.
That's not a plane. What is
I would
it?
like to go flying with Bruce again.
Well,
Did he go flying?
Yeah, maybe we should come along. Maybe we can go flying with Bruce again. That would be really nice.
Who's Bruce?
Bruce Horn, we interviewed him last time. He's some Mac guy, is he?
he's an old dear friend of mine who happens to be the first programmer of the Macintosh Finder. Yeah, some Mac guy.
And here's a little plane. And he took us flying last time we were here. Oh, you are kidding me. Should I go and tell him off? Oh, no, I'm not having that.
That's somebody using one of those gasoline blowers to blow leaves.
Yeah? I will.
No, he.
Can you tell Claire your top level philosophy again?
I tell her what?
Oh, it's really loud. We'll have to move on.